Hey everyone, we're back with day 3 of the Edge of Eternities Previews. If you've been enjoying this, make sure you go and like and follow the channel. Also click on my link tree to go and find the stuff for Generic Commander and when I stream live on Twitch, as well as my TikTok and Instagram. I am not recording this live on stream today. I am doing this just on my own. So let's jump into these cards. The first one is Bioengineered Future. It's a 3 mana mono green enchantment. Then when it enters, you create a lander token, and each creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. It's a commander card. I don't even think that it's really good in commander. I think it's just going to end up being a bulk rare. Plasma Bolt is a 1 mana red sorcery that deals 2 damage to any target, but if you trigger Void, it deals 3 damage to any target. This would have been so good if they made this instant. Otherwise, it's kind of unplayable. It's sad. Make a better shock, cowards. Pain for All is a 3 mana mono red enchantment aura that enchants creature you control. And then when this aura enters, enchanted creature deals damage equal to its power to any other target. And whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to each opponent. This is a Stuffy Doll card. Simple as can be. Stuffy Doll, Screaming Nemesis, Brash Taunter. Yeah, it does all those things. Hemocybic Might, a 1 mana mono green might that's a 1/1 that when it becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power. It's bad. I'm going to skip it. Fail Graveship is a 3 mana mono black spacecraft that when it enters, you mill 3 cards, then return a creature or spacecraft card from your graveyard to your hand. Not bad. This crew cost is 8, which is bad because it's only a 3/2 with Flight and Lifelink. The ETB is almost worth it. But unless you're doing spacecraft, you have just like Overlord of the Baelmurk on 2 does this better. Grav Kill is a 4 mana mono black instant to exile a target creature or spacecraft. This is why I was so hype on the Archenemy Charm or whatever no, is it Archenemy? But whatever the charm was yesterday. Because this is a 4 mana exile spell in black. And this is really where the rate is. This is going to be a great limited card. Not going to really see play anywhere else unless spacecraft takes off. But even then, you do get lost. But you still might want this if you're playing mono black, if you wanted to destroy the spacecraft before it becomes a creature. Interceptor Mechan is a 4 mana Rakdos robot with flying. It is also a 2/2 that when it enters, return target creature or artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Has the Void ability that you get a +1/+1 counter on this creature if you're able to trigger Void. This shows you what Rakdos wants to do. This is one of those signpost uncommons for limited. It wants you to return target artifacts or creatures from your graveyard to hand, but it also has Void, which means it wants you to be sacrificing things as well. Or destroying them. Possibility Technician is a 3 mana Kavu Artificer in mono red. It is a 3/3 that when this or another Kavu you control enters, exile the top card of your library. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may play it if you control a Kavu. Has Warp for 2 mana. I like this card because I like how this way that they give red card advantage. Unless you're playing a Kavu typo deck, it doesn't matter though. Scout for Survivors is a 3 mana sorcery to return up to 3 target creature cards with total mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then you put a +1/+1 counter on each of them. No thank you. Ruinous Rampage is a 3 mana mono red sorcery that has 2 abilities and you choose one. Either deal 3 damage to each opponent or exile all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. This will go and replace Brotherhood's End in Standard, even though it's simply not as good as it, just because Simulacrum Synthesizer decks will probably end up being a thing. Galvanizing Sawship is a 6 mana spacecraft in mono red that is a bulk uncommon because it just has flying and haste, and it costs 3 to crew. The station cost is really low, but still, it's a 6/5 with haste for 6 mana. Starport Security is a 1 mana mono white robot soldier that for 4 mana and tapping this and another target creature, the ability costs. Oh no, for you tap this to tap another target creature. I'm sorry, but it costs 2 less to activate if you control a creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. This is just a limited filler. The Dominion Bracelet is a 2 mana legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and an ability. The ability is 15 generic mana. You exile the Dominion Bracelet. You control a target opponent during their next turn. This ability costs X less to activate, where X is this creature's power. Activate only as a sorcery. The equip cost is 1. This will go and hose 1 player, because unless you're playing ways to get stuff back from exile, you're only able to go and make it trigger once. The activation ability for it, for most players, is gonna end up being very expensive as well. I, however, just like these types of effects because I like just being a thorn in my opponent's side. Umbral Caller Zealot is a 2 mana human cleric where you can sacrifice another creature or artifact to surveil 1. It's okay. Surveilling 1 is good. It's okay though. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy. Alpha Rael, Stone Chosen, is a 5 mana mono black human cleric that's a legendary creature that's also a 3/3 with ward to discard a card at random. And when it attacks, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn, defending player loses half their life, rounded up. I love that it's an attack trigger. There is a 2-card combo with this in Standard. However, you have a better way to do it in Standard already with Unstoppable Slasher. You can make it the 2-card combo just be in Commander. Famished World Sire is an 8 mana Leviathan in mono green that starts off as a 0/0, but it has Ward 3. And it has Devour Land 3, which means that when you sacrifice a land when this enters, you get to go and put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. With the final ability being when it enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is this creature's power. Ooh. Sorry. Put any number of land cards from among them onto the battlefield, tap, and shuffle. So, ideally, what will happen is this is 6 mana, so you probably want to devour at minimum 2. I'm sorry, this is 8 mana. So you want to devour at minimum 3 lands, which will then make this a 9/9 with Ward 3. Then you get to go and look at the top 9 cards of your library if you devour 3, and put any number of land cards from among them into play, which ideally will be 3 of them minimum to make it that you are not going and losing any mana and you're just remaining net neutral. It is possible that this could also be a ramp spell though, so keep that in mind. Oh, that doesn't belong there. Now we're back to the Stellar Sights sheet. Reflecting Pool, which is just a good land to have. And it's a decent reprint, seen as the cheapest one currently is $8. Bonder's Enclave is a card that I understand why they had to use it. However, they're printing a bulk rare into it because they've been putting these into a bunch of commander precons because it's less than $1. I clicked on Reflecting Pool again. And here we are to Uthros Researchcraft from the Commander Precon. I love this card. It's a 3 mana mono blue spacecraft with station. It has 2 station abilities. One is for 3 or more charge counters. If you cast an artifact spell, you draw a card. you put a charge counter on the spacecraft. If you want to see why I like this so much, go and look at next week's Generic Commander episode where I play a Mono Blue Cheerios deck. And then for 12 and having it stationed for 12, it gets flying and +1/+0 for each artifact you control and starts off as a 0/8. I never want this to be a creature because it makes it easier to remove, but this could draw you so many cards, and if I get one, I'll probably put it in that Cheerios deck. Surge Conductor is a 3-mana robot. That's a 3/2. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters, proliferate. It's whatever. Solar Array is a 3-mana artifact. To tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast an artifact spell this turn, it gains Sunburst. If it's a creature, it enters with that many +1/+1 counters for each color mana. Otherwise, it enters with that many charge counters. So you're able to go and give your artifacts charge just by using the Solar Array, or make it that your creatures are bigger. Not really that bad. It's a 3-mana mana rock with utility, which I'm a fan of. Radiant Summit is the Boros Tango land. So, yet again, continue those cycles. Patrolling Peacemaker is a 3-mana mono white robot soldier that starts up as a 0/0, but enters with 2 +1/+1 counters. And whenever an opponent commits a crime, proliferate. If you aren't sure what committing a crime is, it means whenever an opponent targets anything that isn't theirs. So, countering spells, single target removal, duresses. Of course, this is a commander card, so you're not going to have to worry about that. It's not in the standard set. So yeah, anything. Removing one of your creatures, targeting you to mill. All of those are crimes. And it allows you to proliferate. So in a proliferate deck, that's really good. Moxite Refinery is a 2-mana artifact that for 2 untapping it, you remove X charge counters from an artifact or creature you control. Choose one, activate only as a sorcery. The 2 things you can choose is either put X charge counters on target artifact or put X +1/+1 counters on target creature. So this allows you to move your artifact charge counters around. Long Range Sensor is a 3-mana artifact in mono red. When it attacks, put a charge counter on the... Whenever you attack a player, put a charge counter on this artifact. So it doesn't necessarily have to be your own player. And then for 1 and removing 2 charge counters from the artifact, you get to discover 4. I like that. Giving me a way to discover. 3 mana is a little too expensive for it. Otherwise, I would want this to put in Lelia. Insight Engine is a 3-mana artifact that for 2 and tapping, you put a charge counter on this artifact, then draw a card for each charge counter on it. Holy card draw Batman. This one could end up being really good. In Commander, that is. And finally, Glittering Massive is the tapped cycling land for Boros that was made for this set. But yeah, that's it. That's all the cards that are officially on Scryfall. I'll be back tomorrow with the next set of cards that are previewed. And until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.